Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Danny Batsalkin, Danny B, Coach Danny B, all that good stuff, and welcome to Danny B Live, you guys. Super exciting episode today as I welcome Lucas Boccheciampe. I hope I got that right to the show. He is a top real estate agent over in Miami, and with everyone escaping Los Angeles and New York City for places like Miami, I'm super excited to chat with Lucas and see how things are going. He's a busy man down there in South Beach, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how he built an amazing business in only a few short years. So if you're a real estate agent, if you're a lender, if you're a mortgage broker, if you're an entrepreneur, you are in the right place. This is going to be an awesome show. Let's hit it. All right, here we go. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending upon where you are. And it's my pleasure to welcome Lucas Boccheciampe to the show right here. I love that last name, man. It's awesome.
Hi, thank you, Danny. Thank you for having me. This has been great.
Yeah, man.
How are you? How is everything?
Everything's good over here on the West Coast. Everything's going well. The weather's nice today. And we are, rocking and rolling in real estate. Our market's hot, all that good stuff. But, this is all about you today, Lucas. I'm so excited to welcome you to the show. Thank you for your time. I think everyone who's watching is going to learn a ton from your story and everything that you've been through and how you've built an amazing real estate business. So a couple of housekeeping items real quick before we start. You guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new here, this is a live show, and so you can go ahead and jump right into the chat. Ask your questions, throw your comments in. We'll put them up on screen, and Lucas will answer them live on the air. So don't be shy. Throw your comments in there, and if you're getting value from the video, if you like what you hear, give us a big thumbs up so that YouTube shows this to a lot more people. So, Lucas, let's just go ahead and hit it, man. I would love for you to share your story with me and with the audience. I think it's amazing, and I'm really excited to hear about it.
Yeah, well, I live in Miami. I've been living in Miami for the last 8 years, but I'm originally from Venezuela. So I was born and raised and grew up in Venezuela. Mm-hmm. Two cities, Caracas and Barquisimeto, which is a city like not the capital, but it was a like second or third city in the country. So, and then, Venezuela, everything happens, like right. The government and Chavez and all the nightmares that happen. And we decided as a family to come to Miami. It was a natural place to come from Venezuela. We used to come here a lot for vacations. It's a common place for us to come. So I'm an engineer. I'm a civil engineer and an industrial engineer. I have the two engineers on my background, and I work in finance for 5 years at Citigroup in Venezuela.
Okay.
So we decided to come here. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, since I had a company that developed like warehouses in Venezuela. So I came here with the idea of doing some developments, and that lasted for after getting into the business and knowing how different things are here than down in Venezuela, I changed gears to selling only. So I became a real estate broker instead of a general constructor
Yeah. So Lucas, let me, I have so many questions to ask you about kind of, that, because my parents came to the U.S. When I was 3 from Russia. And I always wonder, how hard that is to make a decision to leave your home country and go somewhere else. My parents didn't know English. I don't know if you knew English when you came, but what was that decision-making process like for you? And quite frankly, was it scary? Was it freaky? And how did you guys decide to do that?
It was, for me, it was scary. My wife at the moment, she was a U.S. resident. Uh-huh. And my 2 kids were born here in Miami.
Okay.
So it was very natural coming to Miami. We came in 2013 after all that situation. It was very scary for me because I didn't know what I was going to do here.
Yeah.
So coming from another country, I was fortunate enough to come. I came right after high school in Venezuela and studied high school here for 2 years in Washington, D.C. So my English, I learned English when I was doing high school. Then I went back to Venezuela. I forgot all of the English that I had. and I have to like relearn it again. So, so but
Well,
Miami, coming to Miami, it wasn't an easy transition, like from because we were used. Like, I didn't know the city. Like when we used to come here, it was at Miami Beach,
right.
hitting some to buy stuff and going back. Like that. That was it from Miami for us. So then coming here and this is huge, man. Like getting to know the whole city was like a good 3 years to familiarize myself with the whole city that Miami is.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, I should say Riva is saying, hey guys. So hello, Riva. Thanks for tuning in today. And you guys, I see a lot of people have just joined us. So just a quick refresher, throw your comments and your questions in the chat box. We'll answer them live. I'm here with Lucas Boccheciampe, top real estate agent out in Miami. And we're talking real estate in just a minute. But first, we're just kind of getting to know Lucas's story, which I think is amazing. So Lucas, you came here, obviously, starting a new profession, new life, new country. How did you then break into real estate and get a foothold in, a new city where you don't know anyone, or maybe you knew some people, but how did that work out for you the first couple of years there?
I used to come here like my I have an older cousin. It's like a sister to me. She moved here in 2010, so I was involved in her. Like when they decided to move, I came here and we took like they hired a broker and we started looking at houses in Key Biscayne. So I started getting to know a little bit pretty much how real estate functions here. But in my mind, real estate was investments. So for me, it wasn't. At that time, I was in Venezuela. I was happy in Venezuela. So I had no plans to come here. So for me, real estate was like, oh, I can invest here. I can put money in some like real estate. But in my mind, it never came like I'm going to be a broker. I'm going to be this guy that is showing the properties to my,
Right.
cousin. So I came here. I didn't have like pretty much nothing to do. And I called this guy like, hey, listen, I want to know what are you doing. Take me to your office. Show me how the business is. And he was a developer. He was developing houses. And I wanted to get into the development. I wanted to build houses to sell. And I started working with him. He taught me like pretty much like everything I knew at those 2 or 3 years with them. But then I saw the struggle that is to develop a house from the beginning and all the he had to pass through. And then he was a broker as well. So he sold the house. So he was making the same amount of money in the development than in the sales of the commission. That was the same. You're doing all that work for the same that it's taking you like 6 months to sell a house.
Yeah.
So I decided to go straight to sales. That was a very good 2-3 years learning from him and changing from development to sales, and that was a good decision at that time.
By the way, in development, you also have all the risk. As a broker, you do have some risk, obviously, right?
Yeah, you have money all the time. Like you buy a lot, and then you have to go to the city, all the permits and the nightmare and the change, and then you don't know if you are a developer and owner, you finish the house, and it's not guaranteed that you're gonna sell it in 1, 2, 3, 1 year or 2 years. Like it's a lot of it's too much. For me, it was too much. So.
But it does sound like, you did get a lot of knowledge and you learned a lot in those first couple of years working with him, right?
Then I started working in real estate, and I walked into a house and I could tell you what the setbacks for the house were. And if there was a code violation, I would notice it myself because I was involved in the code permits for a new construction. So I know how many square foot you could build in a lot, and what's the process to, pretty much everything I learned from the development that I apply to the sales in real estate. So that's something that I believe now that I'm a little bit more into the business, that you should know all of that to be a broker. I believe you are put house, you have to know, everything.
Sure. So Lucas, then, you got into, and thank you so much for kind of walking us through your story. I think it's amazing. Much applause and respect to you. Actually, I should give you a round of applause. Here we go. There we go. for making it happen, man. And kind of, I hate to kind of use cliches, but hey, it's the American dream, man. You come here from a different country, from a different place, and you become successful. I think it's awesome. So walk us through. So then you transitioned into being a broker. How did you start getting business as a real estate agent initially?
You know what? I'm a people person. Like I like to meet people, and if you ask any of my friend, like he knows everyone. Like I really like to. I go places alone, and I get to find friends. You know, so I started looking into all the people that I knew at the moment. Like I remember I didn't know anything about real estate, so I was like going with one of the person that works at that office. She was doing a lot of rentals.
Okay.
So she told me one day, like, come with me and I show you around and I show you some of the rentals and some of the apartments that I'm selling. And I used to go with her like every single day from 9 to 5, like
Wow.
driving around the whole city, showing properties, showing here, showing there. And she happened to have an apartment, and I happened to have a friend that was moving in and they needed an apartment. I'm telling you, in that time, I was barely proficient with MLS. So I had to go to someone to show me how to search, because the MLS before is not even close to what it is right now. Like 8 years ago, that was like
Right.
something very, very complicated to put the address, and you have to know the areas and the townships numbers and all these, things that now you just plug the address and that's it. So I went, I find the property, I call my friend, they like it, and we close. That was my first closing. It was like a $320,000 transaction. It was
Awesome.
like my very first. So I got that check. I was so happy. Like, yeah, okay, I can do this. Like,
Right.
I really can. And I started doing the same. Like, calling all the people that I knew, sending emails, following up. Hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Everything good? Want to buy here in Miami? And they're like, oh, of course, I'll take a look at some properties. So I started to sell. Then I started selling pre-construction. That was my 2014.
Okay.
So Miami started to, like, that was the beginning of the next cycle right after the crisis in 2008. There were like 2 or 3 very bad years, and in 2012, 13, all these developers started building up the city again.
Right.
So I then from to sell pre-construction. I did very well for a few years in pre-construction.
Got it. That's awesome, and it sounds like you were really hustling, for the business, and just kind of using your personal sales skills and stuff like that. If we can fast forward to today now, being a top agent, in Miami, in a big city, has that changed? I mean, how do you get your most of your business now?
It's basically the same. Like, you have to, like, hustle, and being top, have the information available. Like now, it's every year that passes, all this technology, and you get all this like competition through technology, like Zillow, and all the buyers or sellers, they
Yeah.
pretty much know the same. They have access to the same information you have. So you have to be in top of the information. Like, I wake up every morning, I come to the office at 8, I go to the MLS, I see what's going in my neighborhood, which is Key Biscayne right now that I'm focusing, knowing what's going pending, what's the new listings, what the listing that have more than 1 year, and getting all that information, because a seller or a buyer is going to call you, and he's going to know pretty much everything. And if you're not on top of that, that's it can change.
But now, Lucas, this is a very important point. So, to our real estate agent friends that are watching, or anyone really in an entrepreneurial field or whatever business you're in, right? Lucas, what you just said, I don't want to gloss over that. I want to really, really focus on that. Look, you get to the office at 8 and you're actually working. I mean, most real estate agents are waking up at 10 and screwing around for a couple of hours on social media, and then they think they're going to be successful. So, you're knowing your inventory, you're going to the office. I mean, these are important things for sure.
Yeah. No, I really, I don't sleep too much. Like, I do sleep. But I'm a sport like addict. Like,
Uh-huh.
I do a lot of triathlon, cycling. So most of the days I'm up at 5, like doing or cycling or going to the CrossFit or the swimming, whatever I have to do. So by the time I'm in the office 8:30, I already have like 3 good hours of exercise.
Wow.
In the Yeah. So
That's
that
awesome.
in the other side is 10 p.m. and I'm dead. I'm just
Lucas, let's chat about that a little bit because like I noticed. And by the way, you guys, I wanted to say, if you're just jumping on the show, throw your questions, comments in the chat box so we can ask Lucas the questions live on air. I did want to mention, looking through your social media, like your Instagram, which I love, by the way, we will have all the links to Lucas's stuff down below so you can reach out to him. We're going to talk about a lot of cool stuff on the show here that I really want to get to, like people moving to Miami and all that kind of stuff. But I do want to ask you, it seems like from your Instagram, you have so many cool hobbies and sports and flying planes and you're on boats and all this kind of cool stuff. I just wanted to ask you about, how that all came to be and then how you fit all of that in with your, obviously hectic real estate agent work schedule.
oh, how that fix like not having a social life. Like, I mean, I'm social, but I'm not the kind of person like I need time, and like the days are too short for me for what I like to do. If you see, like I woke up today at 6, I was flying because I'm becoming a pilot. Like I have I'm getting my private pilot license. My check ride is on Monday, next Monday. So in order to get my check right, I needed to complete some of the requirements. I had to fly today 2 hours. So I took an airplane. I fly 2 hours. I was back here in my house, my office at like 9. So you need to really take advantage of the whole day. And if you just start early, you get a lot of like more like, I don't know. I'm a early person, so I take advantage of the first 4 hours of the day, which is 5 to 9, and I try to do the most on those hours. And then you have your normal job, and then I have 2 kids, so then you fit the whole, because you need to take care of many things. But yeah, I like boating is a big thing that I love. I actually own a small boat. I use mostly during the weekends. Sometimes I go fishing. During the week, if it's a great day for fishing, I go like early in the morning, and that's when I take half of the day off. And I go there, and I'll be back by 1. For the sports, like triathlon, doesn't get into my working or family schedule because this is very early in the morning. So no matter what happens, I wake up at 5 and I come back at 7, and my kids are still like sound asleep when I go there, so I don't take time from them. And the other sports, every time that I have time, like I jump into a kite surfing or whatever, I'm up to in that moment.
That's awesome, Lucas, man. That's so cool. I told my wife I wanted to get my pilot's license, and she said I don't have enough life insurance. So that's off my list.
It's not that dangerous, like really.
No,
It's
I
like a
keep
fire,
telling
like
her.
somebody in the air.
I mean, I'm in LA. I keep telling her like driving on the freeway here is more dangerous than flying a plane. But I love flying. So congrats to you, man. That's awesome. Well, Lucas, let's go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry.
And that's something about Miami, getting to the point of Miami, that Miami is a city that allows you to do so many things, like
Right.
because you have the water, you have, and it's the environment you're in. Like sports is great for the water. You have the water, and it's summer year round, so you don't have any season. Like probably now in the next few months, we will get like our winter is like 70, like the coldest day of the winter of 60. So that's gonna happen in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. And so, Lucas, kind of transitioning, switching gears a little bit into real estate, we do have a question for you from Elena. Actually, there is my wife. She's watching the show. See, I knew if I talked about flying, she would jump on. So Elena wanted to know, Lucas, for you, how are you helping families relocate to Miami, which is definitely a big topic that I want to talk about today. And then how are you finding those types of clients, like relocation people, whether it's from LA or New York or anywhere else?
Now what I'm seeing more is people coming from New York, and I
Yeah.
happen to have some listings. Like I was representing some sellers, and I start getting a lot of people from particularly not New York, like this is Boston, Connecticut, like all the like Upper East. No, and this is people that is like I help them because since I have kids and I know what the necessities they have at the moment, and I know the neighborhood. Like if they're Key Biscayne, for example, it's a little island of Brickell, like very convenient area. We have great schools. We have a great the lifestyle. Like we use golf carts everywhere, and it's a town of 12,000 people. So
Love
it's
it.
great to have here for kids. This amazing. So if they come here and they start asking, I pretty much get to know what's their lifestyle and what they do and what they like. And if they have kids, they like sports. This pretty much this is the place. If you are a single man, like coming from New York or whatever, and you want another type of life, then you have to go to Miami Beach, which that's the
Right.
place I would be if I was in that situation. But now, probably if you don't want to be in the island because you don't, there is a bridge that you need to cross, and it's 5 minutes. So people complain sometimes 5 minutes with a spectacular view. I don't know why, but they complain. So you go to Coconut Grove or other young families area. So pretty much that's what I do. I've been like relocating a lot of people that is coming to my listings. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing now. Is New York,
Yep.
Connecticut, like all the Upper East, like Massachusetts. And the good thing now, you will see in the news, all across the news, like actually today pop out one home that sold $47 million. And let me show you.
Wow.
From a New Yorker as well, and you see all these New Yorkers, and what happened? Like we've been like telling people like from 2 or 3 years ago that with the tax situation in New York and having Florida as like a state tax free,
Yes.
you get all these people coming, staying here for more than 6 months, and they claim their Florida residency,
Correct.
and they will save like the state tax in New York. That was good. We sell a lot of property to people like that, but it was people that could come and stay here for 6 months. Or many people were CEO of companies that they need to be present in their offices. These hedge funds and managers and stuff like that. They need
Sure.
to be present. They cannot take a plane. Yeah, I'll be back in 7 months. So what happened with the pandemic and what's starting these people down that is being really, really, really fast is that people now have to work from home.
Yep.
And no matter if you are in Manhattan, on Hamptons, Connecticut, or Miami, you will do your job from home. Anyways, you cannot go to the office. And that was the thing that I believe, is driving all these people to Miami. Now they can do it. They can save taxes. They can live in this beautiful city. They can pay half price properties, because that's pretty much the average price here is half of what they pay in New York, even if they rent. So that's been happening. And something that happened to me, I've been flying the whole pandemic time, the Corona economy is what I call. I was flying. I decided to take my private pilot license, and I was going to the airport a lot. And you meet a lot of interesting people in the airport, like great people in the FBO, like these people flying jets and coming and going. And I met this gentleman in the 60s from New York, and I started talking to him like every other day, and then he asked me what I was doing, and I started talking to him. He was like, "Oh, I just bought a property here in Miami," and I asked him why you did that, and he's telling me that, like, I have a house in Nassau in the Bahamas, and I
Mm-hmm.
have a house in Hamptons, and I live in Manhattan. His oldest uh, son was like 36, and he's like, I'm been going to the Hamptons through the summers, and when it's winter, I go to the Bahamas, but I never take a look at Miami. He owns a Beechcraft King 200
Cool.
and an Astra, two airplanes, two huge airplanes.
Yeah.
And started calling me because one of the houses with the hurricane and the house in Nassau was damaged, and he was fixing the house, and he had to come a lot and bring the people from the airport from Miami, take the people to Bahamas to fix the house because of the pandemic. they couldn't go in any commercial flight. So he had to put his King 200 to take the workers and bring them back. And
Right.
he's asking me, the biggest discovery of the pandemic was Miami. He
Mm.
bought a house, $13 million,
Wow.
half price of what the house he owns in the Hamptons that he used 1 or 2 months a year. And he's like, I'm selling that house for half price. Half price. I'm buying. He bought in the Venetian Causeway, which is little islands of Miami Beach. I have this house half price, and I get to come to Miami every time that I want. I have a great weather. I have my airplanes here. I can fly my airplanes. I couldn't do with the Hampton home.
Yeah.
He had to jump in a car, and his life became better because of he discovered Miami. Like he
Yeah.
didn't know the life, all the things. So that's something that I learned. That's the people that is coming here.
Lucas, this is such a great topic that you're talking about. I did a video on YouTube talking about people leaving California, and it's gotten like 14,000 views in a few weeks. And it's crazy to me the people that are commenting that people are discovering that, like you said, because of the pandemic, they can work anywhere. And so why deal with like stuff in New York and California when you can have a much better quality of life and save on taxes and all of that kind of stuff in places like Florida. Are you getting a lot of people from the West Coast from over here where I am in LA?
Really, not really.
Okay, so not as
Yeah,
many. So it's mostly New York.
it's mostly New York what I'm seeing now.
Got it. Okay, cool. You said,
Yeah.
now you did mention houses there are like half price of everywhere else. If you could give us an example, I'd love to hear, because houses here are expensive. What is a typical house in your area there in Key Biscayne go for?
Here, Key Biscayne, which is you can take a look at a cellular island. We have it's a very low inventory. Like we have the total of homes is 1,500 houses in the
Uh-huh.
whole island, pretty much. The island is divided, like if you can divide it in two half. Like by the beach, you have the condos, and to the other side, you have all the single family homes. And the price ranges from like $1 million for a land to build, like a very old house to tear down, to like 25, even a $47 million home that sold like 3 or 4 years ago. So
Wow.
you have all that by the waters, yeah, and it's incredible. Like, but still, like you can get today like a spectacular home, like 8,000 square foot under AC, like 16,000 square foot lot by the water with the dock and everything for $14 million. And if you take the 14 million and you go like to New York to LA, it's pretty like it's possible you cannot get what you get here with that amount of money.
No, no, that's for sure. And like you said, I mean, just the quality of life, and the no state income tax obviously is huge right now. A
Yeah,
lot of people are moving for that reason. So my parents own a couple of condos in Hollywood Beach, by Fort Lauderdale up there. And
yeah,
they're
yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing what you said. They live there more than 6 months so that they can claim residency for that reason. So that makes a lot of sense. We do, Lucas, have a question for you from someone who's watching. Are you doing any advertising in other areas like New York City for relocation clients?
What I do pretty much, my marketing is very simple. Like I have a strong email database that I use. That I have a lot of clients from New York, and I have a lot of contacts in. New York for me is very. I have done some real estate deals in New York recently. So I have some friends and sellers that they have homes, and I happen to help them with the whole transaction in New York. Um, so I have a strong database that I use a lot, and that is I'm been getting a lot of response from New York buyers. I do a lot of email, Instagram. I stopped a little bit for a while during the pandemic. I'm going back to Instagram, but that was my biggest
Uh huh.
marketing tool that I use, like Instagram, Facebook with the ads. So that's pretty much what I do.
Got it.
I'm being trying to build YouTube with all the content that I create. That I'm being very lazy to do it, but it's coming.
YouTube's great, man. We've been putting a lot of time in there, and we really love it. And obviously, thanks for being on and on the platform here. By the way, guys, as I said, all of Lucas's contact info will be down below. for sure. Well, that Lucas, that's awesome, man. I love your story. I love everything that you've accomplished. I do have an interesting question for you. So, being from Venezuela, you kind of saw what happened with the government there. Not to completely switch gears here, but I'm curious as to your take as someone who is not originally from the U.S. What's your take on kind of everything that has been going on here in the U.S. with government and politically? I don't know if you're following, but into that stuff. Just kind of given that everyone's like talking about all this stuff, and we see examples of it that hasn't worked in other places, and yet there's a lot of unrest in the U.S. So just curious on your take on that, being from a different country.
Yeah, no, I mean it's crazy because I come from a country where politics became something like very, very dangerous in a
Right.
way. I'm very, everyone that is against something is going to jail, and this crazy socialism idea of these people that shouldn't be, I don't know, man, they have to be out.
Yes.
I don't want to, doing very bad to people. Like translating that to here, here is a very complex governmental, like, you have the Congress, you have many, you have many institutions that they're independently and they level a lot, even though this president is doing like trying to shake the whole system, but you still have some weights from one side to another. But as a person that comes from Venezuela, he is doing what no other president of the United States was doing, like helping the country. I'm really, really, really fighting these guys, like no matter what. That's something for me, in my eyes, is positive because all the other side of the other governments were too soft with people that you have to be tough.
Yes, I agree
And
with
I
you.
know this yeah, I know our president right now, Donald Trump, he's a like very controversial. But in that particular case, when you have to be tough, he demonstrated that he can be tough, even though sometimes some Venezuelans say that you need to be even more tough. Like he's been helping in that and trying to eradicate that socialism that is is getting us all Latin America is going back to backwards
I know.
again. I mean,
Well,
yeah. So
it's interesting, Lucas, because like my parents obviously, came from a communist country of Russia, and so whenever like I see stuff like socialism and people start saying like, "Oh, it's so good and free stuff for everyone," I'm just like, look at all the examples. Look at Venezuela. Look at Russia. Look at all these places, Cuba, and what ends up happening is so bad ultimately. And so we can't, I agree with you 100%. And that's why I'm so against all those kinds of forms of government. And, I don't know how people don't really see it, that, it sounds good. I'm going to get all this free stuff. But at the end of the day, it does not turn out well.
no, 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 no. That's the worst that you can do to the people of a country because then, yeah, it's been like our country was kidnapped by a delinquent mafia,
Right.
and we are trapped into that because of that, because they're applying that, and people doesn't. The people don't really even care anymore because the government is giving. It's not even giving them now
Right.
nothing because there is nothing more to give. A full country that they just tear apart. They stole pretty much everything they had. But yeah,
Yeah. And it was,
that's
I
something
mean,
that hated.
and Venezuela was an amazing country. I mean, everyone lived fantastically well there, right? Before.
So that was amazing. It was an amazing place to live. Like it's a beautiful country. You have many, many things that I can tell you that you don't have anywhere in the world. Like you have, I mean, it's a tiny country. It's not even the size of Texas,
Uh-huh.
but we have like we're in the Caribbean, so we have the best beaches you have. We have two islands that are spectacular. We have Los Roques. If you guys don't know, just go Google Los Roques. I've been in many places, and I haven't seen anything like that in any trip that I go. And I've been to Asia. I've been to like many places, and that's something that you won't find anywhere. You have a deep forest and the Canaima. You have the Salto del Ángel, which is the waterfall, the tallest in the world. Like all those beautiful things that we have. We have the biggest oil reserve in the whole globe.
Wow.
We have it there. We have gold. We have silver. We have like it's like I don't know. We had everything. The problem is we got this mafia,
Yeah.
and they took everything.
Man, that's very
And
unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Very
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunate. Well,
I
I mean,
come from my quick note.
yeah.
Like my family, like my grandfather was very involved in like in the 60s in the government. He was a governor of one of the cities.
Oh, wow.
And then he was a president of the commerce chamber and he was good friend with the president Carlos Andrés Pérez, which was one of the great presidents of the country. And coming from that family of people that wasn't and it's very sad to see that what is happening.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. It is. And it's I feel actually it's interesting because I feel very similarly about California. California was once a fantastic state, and we have so many people leaving now because a lot of it because of our politics here, and everything that's happening. We have the highest state income taxes, the highest gas tax, the highest taxes all around, and now we're not getting the value for that tax, and so many people are being driven away. Florida, I don't think is as hot of a destination like you said from California. A lot of Californians are going to Texas and Tennessee and places like that. But a lot of our people are going to Florida as well. Like you said, good weather, housing prices are less, and so it's definitely a popular destination. Well, Lucas, I will tell you, man, I so appreciate your story. I think it's so encouraging and inspirational. Look, so many people get into real estate and, don't really know what to do and how to make it. And so hearing stories like yours is just amazing. I wanted to ask you if you could give maybe a new agent or someone that's just getting into the business right now some tips, some advice, how to break in, how to gain some momentum, and how to build a client database. What would you say to them?
Yeah, you have to talk to people, like pretty much. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for me, like for me, it comes natural. Like I like to know people, and you ask people, and you, I don't know, like for a starter, like a person that just got the license and don't know pretty much, like because when you get your license, you go to a school that doesn't teach you anything. When you go out from the school, you
Right.
it's a totally different world. Like I don't know why they have this license that you have to take to an exam that doesn't have to do anything with what real estate in reality. So if you come out from, if you got your license, start working with someone that has a lot of experience and is willing to give you his time to teach you, like take you to places, go to as many open houses as you can go. Then you will learn and listen to the people. I used to every open house in the area where I was in Coconut Grove, just listen to the people. Just listen to the realtor, how they talk to the people that was coming into the open house, how they approached it, how they took the information, learning all that. And even though if you go to an open house by yourself, you don't know even the listing. Hey, you will meet people. You probably meet the buyer that is by themselves, walking into a house. Hey, I can show you. I live in the other corner. I can show you whatever, and then you get a client. That's something that you can be lucky enough to have. But yeah, for new agent, I believe you need to spend at least 1 or 2 years, like in the shadow of someone else, like just learning and grabbing and like soaking pretty much every information that you can have. And then you will start having businesses, and then you probably will go your own way. But at the beginning, it's going to be very hard to do it by yourself, I believe. I had the opportunity to do it, as I'm telling you, like going, these two people were helping me, like pretty much. And by myself, I was doing that, going to every open house, going there, talking to people, asking people.
Yeah.
So
basically, find a great mentor, right? Which we talk about on the show all the time, and then also, talk to people. it's a contact sport. So that's fantastic advice.
Something that you cannot be in real estate is shy, like
Yeah.
with anyone. Like have a I have a story. I met Warren Buffett.
Oh, wow.
Uh, yeah, that was luck. Like I happened to be in the Dolphins Stadium at the field, and he was in the field. So I approached to him and I talked to him. And I wouldn't, like, if you are shy or whatever, you couldn't, like, you have to go just there. And if they tell you no, okay, don't be afraid of a rejection. Like, you just
Sure.
go there and do it. And you have to, try to connect with people, with the things that it comes natural. Like, you have to make conversation and try to shift the conversation to the things that you like, that they like. For example, for me, one of the biggest thing was kite surfing. I was doing kite surfing in the beach, and people was doing kite surfing. I was approaching every kite surfer and telling them that I do real estate as
Yeah.
well. So, and then you start meeting people, and what are the things that you do?
Lucas, it's interesting because I interview, people with teams and people that all this kind of stuff. And by the way, Claire says it's incredible that you met Warren Buffett. Yeah, that is super cool.
Yeah,
Very cool. So Lucas, it's interesting when I talk to agents, the most successful agents, they talk to people everywhere they go. Wherever you are, kite surfing or whatever you're doing, you got to let people know what you do. You got to meet people. I mean, look, you met people at an airport, at a game, so it's a great skill. I got a question for you. Do you think that for you that is a natural skill, or did you learn that through your mentorship and through everything you've done?
No, that's natural, because what I'm doing is applying that now to real estate. But before, I like to meet people. I like and it happens easy to me. Like I do, yeah, it's natural. I don't know even how to explain it. You just talk to people. You have to know many things, like, because the people, like, for example, like kite surfing. You start talking about kite surfing. Since you know kite surfing, you will have a conversation. They will know that or airplanes, and you talk airplanes, or you like cars or Formula One, and then you go, that all those things, because people want to talk to someone that talks their language, like what they like. And if you like soccer and you like Real Madrid or you like Barcelona, you have to know what's happening with Messi and Neymar, and then just start a conversation, and then everything builds from that. You don't have to say, "Hey, I do real estate." You connect with the people, and then you try to make them ask you what you do.
So, Lucas, the thing is, you do it naturally, but I will tell you, because I'm a big systems guy, right? So when I coach agents, I like to create systems around what they do. And what I'll tell you is that, what you're doing is you're incorporating your passions, all the different hobbies and things that you do into real estate. So you're bringing real estate into all of those hobbies, and you're talking to all those people that you meet and all these high net worth individuals and stuff like that with real estate. So you're incorporating the two, which I think is fantastic. I know you do it naturally, but that is great. So congrats on that, man. Very cool.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, but I love to do it. Like, it's fun for me. Like, I don't know. I go to for example, for me, one of the biggest networking event was Art Basel here in Miami.
Was what
Art
event, Lucas?
Basel, Art Basel,
Okay.
Art Basel, the art fair here in Miami. So it's a week at the beginning of December. That all these huge galleries from the world come and congregate here together to sell art. And those events, I remember, I've been going there for like the last 7 years, and that's meeting people. And this is a high network people coming to buy art, and I used to go there like those week. You won't see me or in my office or in my house. I was out all day long meeting people
Right.
everywhere. So you have to, and I like it and I love it. And it was so much fun for me that week, and it just got canceled this year. But yeah,
Right,
it
because
was a big event for me.
because of COVID. So Lucas, let
Yeah.
me ask you this. You've been hustling and making all this happen in real estate, for a while here, and built a big business in Miami, and you're helping people. Just wanted to ask you, in real estate, what's next for you? Or do you have some really big goals that you could share over the next, maybe 1 to 3 years that you're working on, or what you want to achieve in your business?
Yeah, I will keep doing real estate, but I'm planning on I want to start my real estate like investments personally, like buying little houses and renting them and keeping them, not flipping. I
Uh-huh.
don't, I don't, I never like flipping houses. It's an instant, like what you said, an instant reward, but not a long-term one. So
Right.
I'm some like multi-family like fund for me, like putting together many properties and try to live from rents, like
Uh-huh.
try to have something like that, because I'm regretting not having to do like I should I should have started doing that like 2 or 3 years ago, and I did not. So
Right.
now with all this what is happening now, now I'm more than sure that that's something that I need to do, even though I will keep doing real estate. I hope that sometimes I can accumulate enough properties to, have a multifamily, fund or something.
Yeah, portfolio. That's awesome, man. Yeah, as they say with real estate, the best time to buy was 30 years ago, and the second best time is today. So,
Yeah,
so let's start buying today.
yeah, but that in my like my next 3 to 5 year, I want to build that. Really, that's something personal to me. Like it's not business. I'm doing it because I'm in the business, but that's what I'm planning to do. Yeah, and
Fan-
probably if everything goes as I think it's gonna go, change a little bit from the broker to more the managing of whatever I built with that.
Awesome, Lucas. Good stuff, man. Well, hey, I will tell you, this has been so incredible to have you on. And now that we've gone through the business and the personal and the hobbies and all that kind of fun stuff, it's time for our lightning round on the show. So I got to give Lucas a sound effect here. And the lightning round, Lucas, is where I will ask you some fun questions, and you can answer with whatever comes to mind. You don't have to explain it if you don't want to. You can if you want. And it's just the point of this is so that our audience and our listeners can really kind of see what makes you tick, what is the secret behind the success. So, you ready for the lightning round here?
Let's go.
All right, let's rock and roll. So, Lucas, what is your superpower?
I can talk a lot.
Yep, I love it. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I want to be a pilot, actually.
That's awesome, man. And so
I
now
wanted to
you're
be a pilot.
realizing your dream.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We didn't talk about it on the show, but are your kids excited about you becoming a pilot?
They're dying. They're dying to come with me, but I haven't taken them with me because I want to build a little bit more hours on my training. But yeah, they're dying to do.
That's awesome, man.
They really want.
That's gonna be so much fun. Very cool. Okay, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
What other profession? I will be a professional athlete.
Oh, nice. What sport?
Uh, it could be not triathlon, but I don't know. Probably the golf was one of the biggest ones when I was younger.
Oh, I love it.
But I never was good enough to. But then that would be a fun one.
Yeah, that's a tough one to become a pro in for sure, but it's good. Okay, this will be fun because you're in a great spot for it. What's your favorite restaurant out there or type of food?
Arab food is one of the best for me. Like a good like Lebanese food or any Japanese food. Like I love sushi. I can pretty much eat every day, like any raw fish, and even though I like to cook a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that I like.
Love it. And
here in Quebec, we have some great restaurants, so I go a lot.
Yeah, you guys have great food out there just in South Florida for sure. We always eat very well when we go visit. Lucas, who's your favorite musician?
Okay, I have few. I like music a lot, like a lot. So Eddie Vedder for sure would be one of the biggest for me. Like I follow him and as a person and what he built, and Pearl Jam is amazing, and all of that. And if you ask me right now, like more like, let's say, a modern pop, John Mayer. For me, John Mayer could be one of the greatest guitar players that is now alive. Like, I know there is Eric Clapton and there are many others, but he would make like the top 5 best guitar players. And that's the two that I really like and follow and hear all the time. If you find me somewhere, I will listen to John Mayer or Pearl Jam.
Awesome, man. I love it. Two really good ones for sure. Yeah. Okay, a couple more questions of the lightning round. I love this part of the show. We get to know you a little bit more personally. What is your idea of a perfect vacation?
Perfect vacation. Okay, lay back. And it has to be a combination of laying back and doing pretty much nothing and doing some sports. Like, I love like destinations. Like, I go to like Dominican Republic and I can lay back and I can do kite surfing, or that combination with nature and sports, and that.
Man, I really
but
want
definitely
to go to... Oh, sorry, Lucas.
Go ahead.
I lost you for a sec.
Yeah, and the second one that I have, like my biggest and the best vacation for me is going skiing, snowboarding.
Nice. Wait, so where do you go from?
One for me.
Where do you go from Miami to go snowboarding?
I go to Vail most of the time.
Okay. So you got to fly. You don't
Colorado,
have anything close.
I have to fly. Yeah, there is no way. Yeah. I go to Vail. I love the mountain. Like, it's challenge. It's great. I've been going there like for 12 years, every single year.
Awesome.
And few times a year.
Very, very cool. All right, Lucas. So last question in the lightning round. You're doing awesome here. This is my favorite question in the lightning round. You may like this one as well. What car best embodies your personality?
What car? Okay. You know what? I'm not a big fan. Like, I do like cars, like, but I'm not the one like I'm gonna buy a Ferrari, or I have in my mind having a Porsche. Like, no, I own a Range Rover Sport 2013.
That's a good
that
car.
I love. Like, it's a 8-year-old car that is still like, I look at my car and I like it, and that's pretty much what my personality is reflect probably in that car. I don't like the newer one or anything, and I believe I'm trying to keep that for as long as it holds herself together. But yeah, that's the car that I like now. In Venezuela, we used to have only like Toyota. The Toyota, the SUVs, but yeah, that's the car. I will, like, if I see a nice like Aston Martin or turn and look and admire the car, but it's not something that I'm really, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
it's
very
just a
cool.
car.
Lucas, I had a 2012 Range Rover Sport, a white one that I loved. I love that body style. And then when they switched it, I don't like the new one either. And that's why I had sold it for a different reason. But I don't like the new ones either.
I'm about to sell mine for the same reason. Like, maintenance is like so expensive in those cars. Like,
it
man,
it is. It really is.
The car, like.
That's why I had to switch. Well, Lucas, that was amazing, man. Thank you so much again. I'll give you one more round of applause for lightning round. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. And so, Lucas, before we go, before we leave the show, just wanted to ask you, do you have any parting words of wisdom here for everyone watching? Again, we have, real estate agents, lenders, mortgage brokers, entrepreneurs, people watching the show here. If you can leave us with some words of wisdom before we go here, what would that be? With
some words, just go like, I have a phrase that I wrote one time that the right time is right now. Like, don't for anything, just do what you have to do now. Like, there's two things. Like, the right time is right now. There's never a best time than right now. Like, tomorrow is gonna be something different, and yesterday already passed. And the other thing is, like, there is no, like, people works through a goal, and I think that there is a journey that you take, and there is not really a destination. You just keep going until you die, pretty much, in life. It's just keep working yourself up. Like the sky is the limit, and just go for it. Like don't expect something like quicker, or like you're doing just fine where the pace is. Just work and work and work, and you will get whatever you want to get. But don't see it as a destination. If you get to a destination, you get to a goal, that's the set for a newer and more ambitious one. So don't stop there in the goal that you're setting, because you can go more and more and more.
Lucas, I will tell you, I think that is such great advice for everyone, no matter where they are in their business journey, or wherever they are in anything that they're doing in any endeavor in life. So thank you for that. And I think that's a great thing to leave for our audience. So Lucas, one more time, I just want to thank you so much for being on the show today. You were incredible. Congratulations on all your success and on your journey. And I know you're just getting started in what you're doing out there in Florida. And hopefully we can send you some referrals. You guys, if you're watching the show, we'll put Lucas's info down below. Reach out to him for South Florida real estate. So Lucas, thank you so much, man, for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank
Talk to you soon.
Yes, for sure. All right, you guys. Well, I want to thank you guys all for tuning in today to Danny B Live. What an amazing guest. What an amazing story that Lucas had, for sure. And you guys, if you're watching this and you're a real estate agent or a mortgage broker or title rep or an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you're doing, I may have some programs that can help you. My passion, my mission is to help people create a business that's predictable, that's profitable, and that's fun. So that you can enjoy all of your other hobbies, just like Lucas is doing with flying and kite surfing and triathlon, all these other cool things. Real estate, any other business, entrepreneurial endeavor is amazing, and you can build a great business out of that. So if we have a program for you, the link is right there, bookacallnow.com. You can book a business strategy session. If there's something I can do to help you, I will. If not, we'll definitely guide you in the right direction. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you get notified about all of our videos. And we do Danny B Live every single Thursday. We have all kinds of other content that comes out during the week as well. So again, I want to thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for being a fan of the show here, and I will talk to you on the next video. Thanks, you guys.